boys. The plan is simple. We're going to be taking a look at one of the most degenerate, goofy decks of all time, and that is Rhongomyniad Turbo, or Rongo Bongo as it's commonly called. I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of the brief history of this terribly designed card, a little bit of a card-by-card discussion on the deck profile, some text, and of course that sweet gameplay. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the news.
Screenshot this, alright?
Rhongomyniad is a pretty interesting card. It's a monster nestled within one of the worst archetypes of all time, the Heroic Warriors, consisting of battle and damage related challengers and heroic champions, which consist of, basic effects such as negating trap cards, popping monsters on special, gaining attack, and preventing summons. What the fuck? Rhongomyniad reads as follows. It requires 2 or more level 4 warrior type monsters, and once per turn during your opponent's end phase, detach 1 material from this card. This card gains effects based on the number of materials currently attached to it. 1. Cannot be destroyed by battle. 2. Gains 1500 attack and defense. 3. Is unaffected by other cards' effects. 4. Your opponent cannot normal or special summon monsters. And 5. Once per turn, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. This card, outside of Thousand Blades, who would be played in Grass Mill type strategies alongside Performage Trick Clown, coining the term Clown Blade, would be forever the only relevant heroic warrior to ever see play. And by golly, this card saw play. Now, it wasn't all bad. In 2016, it saw play primarily in Satellar Knights. After all, a rank 4 that has 3k attack, can be destroyed by battle at the minimum, and with proper Vega setups could also be unaffected by card effects, that's definitely gotta be worth playing in the extra deck. However, in 2018, things took a very dark turn with the release of this monster, number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, a rank 3 Xyz who's not only able to negate monster effects, but can target another number Xyz monster you control and attach its materials to that monster, including itself. Guess what text precedes the heroic champion Rhongomyniad? I really don't get it, man. Why is it a number? It's the only number for the heroic warriors. What the fuck? Thanks to this catastrophic fuck up by Konami, making 5 to 6 material Rhongomyniads in certain decks has never been easier. Decks such as Goki and Six Samurai, which have extremely powerful board presence and ability to just create a massive board. And additionally, it was so dominant because of its inability to be removed and its extreme floodgate effect. Most answers just weren't cutting it. Stuff like kaijus couldn't even be put in because you can't summon monsters. People ended up buying out cards that were terrible, such as Xyz Encore, since it was ruled that it affected the materials of the monster and not the monster itself. So you could technically use something like Xyz Encore to detach everything from the Rhongomyniad and, not die. But this card completely dominated the TCG until its eventual ban in 2019. However, because we live in Nightmare Land, this card is actually legal in Master Duel, and we're going to be doing our best to ruin our opponent's day with this card. Thanks to the Phantom Knight's insane board building ability in creating rank 3 and 4 monsters, we're actually able to create a 5 material Rhongomyniad with any 2 level 3 monsters and just a little bit of luck. So, let's get into the card by card. We're playing 3 Torn Scale, 3 Silent Boots, 2 Ancient Cloak, 1 Ragged Gloves, and 1 Stained Greaves. Torn Scale is your main normal summon and a Foolish Burial. Silent Boots is a free special and can banish itself to search any Phantom Knight's spell trap. Ancient Cloak is able to banish itself to search any Phantom Knight card. Usually this is going to be Stained Greaves 90% of the time. But if you've already got everything, you could add something like a Silent Boots for extension, the Shade Brigandine, or the Fog Blade if you really want to do that route. Ragged Gloves is here as a corner case measure in case we need to send something like a Fog Blade or need access to one of the other guys in order to get an additional body onto the board because we have something like Fog Blade engraved. It's pretty corner case scenario-y and really niche, but it does come up. and Stained Greaves. If a Phantom Knight monster is special summoned to the field, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from hand, and then you can increase the level of this card by 1. I wonder if a level 4 monster will ever be relevant within this deck's combo. Anyways, that's going to be one of the 2 bodies needed for the Rhongomyniad, and it's extremely critical that you either open this or get access to this off of something like Armageddon Knight or Rhoda, which we are playing, of course, because these are all warriors. We're playing 1 Shade Brigandine because this card is extremely searchable off of the entire Phantom Knight lineup, and you are able to use this as the second body in order to go into your Rhongomyniad, and of course 2 Fogblade, both of which are massively searchable within the archetype. For extenders, we're playing 2 Jackalope, 3 Tsuchinoko, 2 Nessie, and 1 Mothman. These just sort of act as the best level 3 extenders and have graveyard synergies because you're able to discard Phantom Knights. Nessie gives you access to these and is overall not that bad. And the 1 Mothman just sort of smooths out certain hands that you might not have the best time with. Say something like a Fogblade in hand is really good to pitch off of the Mothman's second effect if all else fails. For the Psychic extenders, we're playing 1 Wheedler and 1 Psychic Tracker, and of course 2 E-Telly to grab them out of the deck. And these also serve dual purpose as free specials, because if you control a level 3 monster other than themselves, you can special summon them from the hand, which is very, very nice. For our Garnets, we are playing 1 Graph and 1 Seer. These are necessary for your Cherubini line, which is extremely explosive and able to be done with any 2 level 3s again. But if you do hard draw one of these, it does make it a whole lot stickier. You're going to have to get 2 level 3s onto the board without your normal summon, which is not as easy as you might think. You're going to be only able to do those in the sense of with like dangers or getting very lucky with E-Tellies. For our hand trap lineup, we're playing 3 Maxi and 3 Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's a level 3. It actually does come up sometimes. I know, absolutely crazy. And for board breakers, of course, we're playing 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Twin Twisters, and 3 Forbidden Droplet. The latter 2 have really good synergy within this deck going second because the Phantom Knights like being in grave, and being able to just discard 4 Phantom Knights isn't really that big of a deal in most scenarios. For our extra deck, we're playing 1 Leviair the Sea Dragon for extension plays, 2 Phantom Knights of Break Sword, 2 Gossip Shadow. One of these is cuttable, and the second one is sort of just a cute text slot for me to just make like a 7 material Rhongomyniad on my follow-up turn if I want to blow up my opponent's board. But 1 is absolutely necessary for the combo, and the second one is just kind of cute because I like it. 1 Downer Magician for rank up lines, 1 number 86 Heroic Champion Rhongomyniad. Why is it a number? 1 Zeus, because who would have guessed that the Xyz deck likes to play Zeus? 1 Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. This card sends for cost. It's fucking goofy. You can not only send stuff like Graph, but if you've already got those into rotation for whatever reason, you can send stuff like Ancient Cloak or Silent Boots because it's any level 3. Absolutely insane. We got Nightmare Phoenix and Unicorn for utility. IP Masquerena is here for boards that don't exactly lose to Rhongomyniad. Stuff like Eldritch Set 5, if we're against that sort of matchup in a best 2 out of 3, is pretty relevant. 1 Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardish. This card is absolutely broken. 1 Apollousa Bow of the Goddess, and 1 Access Code Talker. Let's hop into some techs. We've got a lot we could be playing for tech stuff. If you want some free level 3 extenders, we've got Junk Forward and Kagemusha Knight. If you want a more impactful normal summon, playing 1 to 2 tour guides from the underworld is pretty good. All you have to do is maybe play like a level 3 Fiend, maybe something like Sandgen, who knows. We've got the 1 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit and Nyan Nyan as E-Telly targets. Nyan Nyan, of course, doesn't get the free special from hand, but it does have great recyclability for any of the Phantom Knights that you are banishing, and can additionally special summon itself from the grave, which is really, really nice. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit is a psychic and can activate its effect on board, so it's not only serving as a hand trap but also as a form of interruption on your opponent's turn if you want to like set E-Telly and then activate it to get Ghost Ogre onto the board, which is pretty funny. Or you could sort of just, you know, use it for its intended purposes. This deck has a ton of engines it can include and be played in, which of course include Heroes if you want to spend $1 million, and Striker if you're weird, I guess. Additionally, Isolde is amazing for just the entire Dark Warrior line, but it is pretty high investment in both extra deck and main deck stuff and plays a lot of Garnets. Additionally, if you want some extra deck stuff, we've got the Zodiac line, which is pretty easy to go into because the monsters that Phantom Knight Break Sword bring back when it destroys itself are level 4, and you're able to easily go into like a Chakanine, Borbo, Zodiac Dragon, all that good stuff on follow-up turns in order to go for big Zeuses and of course, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, Belle, who is extremely easy to go into as well because you're very easily able to spam the board. But it's really cute and only good against specific decks such as Crooked Cook. And if you're really scared of hand traps, 2 Call by the Grave, cross out Designators, and if you want to get real cute, Prohibition are also good tech slots to just be like, I'm not losing to Nibiru any day of the week, baby. So, let's get into some gameplay. So, our opponent's going to be on Sky Striker, but they could be on Exodia for all the relevancy it will matter. Our hand is broken. We've got access to basically everything. Torn Scale is going to be our normal. We're going to send Ancient Cloak. Nessie is going to be used upon his discard to add a Jackalope, and we're going to special summon the Silent Boots, and because of Master Duel's patented technology of telling me that, yes, your opponent has no hand traps, we're going to special summon the Stained Greaves, which we hard drew in the opener, so we don't have to use our Ancient Cloak search on that. We're going to go into Cherubini, we're going to send the Graph. Graph is going to special summon the Seer to the BA Cherubini zone so it doesn't destroy itself. We're going to use Tsuchinoko, discard the Jackalope, draw an Ash Blossom off the top. Jackalope's going to special summon the Tsuchinoko, and it is in hands like these where you basically open everything and have the additional bodies. You can go into Appaloosa to further insulate your plays when all else might go wrong. We're going to use the Seer to bring back the Cherubini, and we're going to use those to go into the Rusty Bardiche, because Rusty Bardiche is completely generic and we live in Hell World. We're going to be using our Silent Boots Engrave to banish itself in order to add the Shade Brigandine, and because of Monster Banish itself, that is a PK, we're going to special summon the Torn Scale from hand or grave or whatever. We're going to be using the Rusty Bardiche in order to send the Ragged Gloves in order to set the Fog Blade. We're going to activate the Shade Brigandine in order to get it onto the board. We're going to use the Ragged Gloves in order to send the Ancient Cloak, and then we realize we don't have a second level 3 on board, which is very, very bad. So we sort of make, you know, a little bit of an oopsie whoopsies play. We're going to summon Rhongomyniad to the Bardiche zone, and we're going to pop our own Fog Blade. We're going to then use the Fog Blade in order to bring back the Ancient Cloak that we sent off the Ragged Gloves in order to get onto the board. We're going to increase our Bardiche attack by 800. We're going to overlay 2 Phantom Knights to go into, of course, our number 75 Bamboos and Gossip Shadow. We're going to get Veilered, but unfortunately we had the foresight to make Appaloosa and, you know, the luck. So we're going to, unfortunately, negate that Veiler from messing up our days. What's funny is that hand traps don't even affect us that much. We're going to target our Rhongomyniad and get 5 materials onto it, and this is Hell World. They're going to activate their Sky Striker Afterburners, targeting our Rhongomyniad, seeing the writing on the wall, and knowing they can't out our card, are going to instantly concede. So what did that teach us, class? That floodgates are really stupid and the power creep of Yu-Gi-Oh has far eclipsed the modern man? Yeah, probably. Let's get into some pros and cons. Pro number 1. This deck is consistent of all hell. I mean, you saw it. Any 2 level 3s gets the entire job done. And you can make Appaloosa if you open Saki enough. Number 2, this deck resists most hand traps. Cards like Veiler and Ash Blossoms are realistically non-issues, since basically every card in the deck serves the same function of special summon a level 3, or get something into the graveyard, and then special summon a level 3. And 3, Rongo is incredible. If your deck cannot out this guy and your opponent has follow-up plays and you realistically can't interact with them, just scoop it up and go next. This card is just everything that I hate about this game. Holy shit, I hate Rhongomyniad. And the cons. Number 1, it's not resistant to every hand trap. Specifically targeted hate such as Skullmeister, DD Crow, Lancia, and most notably Nibiru can really mess up your day. Additionally, in specific hands, stuff like Ash Blossom at the perfect time, if your opponent can sniff out that, hey, maybe they didn't open super great, can kind of screw up your day as well. 2, opening Graph and Seer can be devastating to your combo. Sure, you can play multiple as a precaution, but this is just making your deck overall less consistent and a little bit more bricky. And 3, some matchups Rongo just on its own cannot beat. Certain back row and stall strategies can trip you up. If you're not able to kill them immediately on the follow up, it can get really difficult in order to close out that game, and that's something that this deck surprisingly struggles with, being able to close out games with just Rongo. Obviously, if you have 6 materials, this isn't much of an issue, but if you're only working with a 2-turn clock and your opponent still has hand traps to fall back on, things can get really, really rough. All in all, this deck is disgusting. It's strong, consistent, and it's deadly. It's not even that expensive, which is the worst part. Play it. I hate this game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Stevie. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe about why like Rhongomyniad fucked your wife and ruined your marriage. that's gonna be it for me. See ya.